Yeah, don't think Wink wanted to go back to work at all today.
Yeah.
Which is, but he did nevertheless. And he's been making something for me. He's making me a garden trog.
A vegetable trug.
A vegetable trug, it's called. I've never heard of it.
Is that like a wheeled thing that you haul stuff around in or sit on and roll around on or something?
That sounds nice. I do have a picture of it. It is called... Well, basically, it's this kind of... It's going to be portable because I want wheels on the bottom of it. But it's this thing.
Yeah, okay.
And you put your seeds in it, and, you know, I'm going to grow...
It's massive.
...peppers this year, because we never have enough sun. So I might be able to put a thing over the top of it and get some peppers and tomatoes. I've grown them every year except last year for like 14 years, and they never turn red, and they never ripen. The one
I'm making is miles bigger than that. It's 6 feet long and 2 feet wide, and... weighs about 150 pounds.
Yeah, and he's done his back in hauling wood around in an overexcited, compulsive building type mode.
I've had to use all my tools.
He's used all his tools.
Overexcited, compulsive, huh? That's rough.
So I'm going to do some kind of planting of all the lovely healthy vegetables and stuff. I'm resurrecting my vegetable patch, and I'm just like so excited about it. So I've got things to plant all, you know, ready and everything, so I'm really excited.
We're already starting to see some of the nurseries around here and feed stores and so forth. They've got some plants, some vegetables and things like that, but they're keeping them kind of in warm places. They're not really all out.
Yeah.
And that's because there's still danger of a frost happening here. I mean, we won't be probably, I don't know, you know, last week of February, if we don't get a frost, another one by then, we're probably out of the woods.
Yeah.
I think some people will start planting, but won't put everything in the ground then. They'll put some things in the ground, you know, with the expectation of putting the rest of it in a week or so, just in case there's something late that happens, you know, because you don't want to have it, you don't want to spend all of it, you know, you don't want to roll the dice on just one crop, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing really. So it's, and they say here, right up until May, you can get a frost, and that just kills everything. So you need them in little nursery. I don't have a greenhouse, so you need them in little nursery things. Will you get the Houston mug, darling? Oh, right. Oh, sorry, I couldn't see it.
Yeah, so some kind of little mini greenhouse or something. And I've got some little seed starter thing that's got a mat that you plug in but it's a lot of work, and it'll be warm enough outside anyway. And I'm not going to try to grow from seeds. I'm just going to go get the plants. Like I've already decided which tomato plants I want to get, and I'm going to get the Celebrity is what it's called. Woo! It's a hybrid, and you know, so I'll plant those. Maybe just get a couple of 3 plants, maybe 4. But if we get them in early enough, we'll have more tomatoes than we can eat. I mean, it's exactly. Even just 4. I think 3 or 4 plants will be plenty.
Yeah.
And then I need to really put in hi Karen. We need to put in maybe a second bed, depending on how I feel. I'm still working on the bat box, so
we'll have to see some pictures of those.
Oh,
I've got 3 lovelies watching.
I'll make a video out of it or something. I've got all the pictures so far, but I actually started assembling the pieces last night, so I've been through all the cutting and the shaping and the cutting in the grooves and the staining and the putting the 3 coats of paint on after. I mean, it's just all these things, and it's like, okay, and then you have to go out there and it's freezing and turn the little, the rocket heater on for a few minutes so that you can stir up the paint, which is like, stirring up thick rubber cement in those kind of temperatures because it's in the 40s right in there.
Yeah.
And then, you put it on and then it's on so thick that, and really it needs more than a day to dry before you can put the next coat on it. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'll get it done eventually.
Yeah, it is. I mean, honestly, I think even Wink is all guitar built out at the moment, although he's buying all the bits for the next onslaught of them. But it is a lot. Hi, Robin. Hi, Sandy. Hi, Karen. Lovely of you to join. Yeah. So, so all exciting really. And I think that, the whole, from the health point of view, and I always end up being so disorganized that I end up going and buying plants that are about 1 foot tall.
Oh dear.
Because I never get anything in the ground quick enough, so I can't plant. So I've got this thing now. It's my birthday in a couple of weeks' time, so it's my birthday present from Wink. And we're putting big casters on it so I can wheel it round the garden, and it's sturdy enough that when Wilma jumps up at it, she won't knock it over.
Right.
because of course the pigs do run around the garden as well. Hi Snow, sweetheart, how you doing? So let us have any questions, anything you want to ask, please put it in capitals so I can find it, because you know what a numpty I am with getting lost in the comments and then not being able to find things to let you know. So yeah, I've started doing my press ups again. I don't know how I managed to get out of the habit, but Wink and I are in a bit of a fit February.
Yeah.
Because he's put on a little bit of weight. It's funny seeing Wink with we call it a wok belly. It's like he's got a wok under his t-shirt.
Oh, how funny.
I know. Wok belly, and he's got little handles, which he's not used to having. So yeah. So he's going to start doing things like the plank and a bit press ups and stuff like that with me. So that's good.
Cool.
Yeah, and it'll keep me on track as well, because it's always good when you do something with someone, isn't it?
I think it helps keep you motivated when you have other people along for the ride. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. And I found on our chat last week that the lovely DW joined us and she really enjoyed it. It was really lovely to hear that she enjoyed it so much.
Oh, good.
Lots of people were saying that they would never have stayed on the wagon if it hadn't been for this twice weekly group, which is, it's really nice to hear that the reason some people are still doing it is because we do this twice a week. Even if they're not fully on board or they're not fully got there, they're still maybe having a bit of cheese or maybe having a bit of this or a bit of that. The fact that they've got any gains at all, a lot of people, is because they love the friendship and interaction of this group, which is it's just lovely. Hi, Linda. So that's really good. And also, I thought I was going to email you, but I haven't had a chance. I've had quite a few messages from people saying they miss the emotional support on fasting days, and also a lot of people that would love to be on live just cannot make this time. So I'm wondering if maybe I don't know what kind of times people are, kind of doing things, but I wonder if we could maybe do one of them later and one of them earlier, or maybe a fast day and a non-fast day. I don't know. I just thought I'd put that out there and, see what you thought, basically.
I just put a picture of myself when I finally realized how complex the plans were.
Oh, right. I got to go onto your Facebook, haven't I?
On the bat nursery, 4-chambered bat nursery box. And I finally realized how much work this was going to be.
Hello, my love.
This is my expression.
I'm trying to see it. No. Where are you on YouTube or are you on Facebook?
Oh, I'm on YouTube.
Oh, right. Okay, then I'll be able to find it.
I like to mix it up. I don't want anybody to be able to find me, so I like to move around, I don't want anybody to know where I am. That would be crazy.
Oh, how funny. Yes. Oh, I think that picture of you is great. I'm just going to get this up so that people at my end can see it if it doesn't run out quickly. Hang on. Look at that picture of him. Oh,
yeah. That's either me looking at the thermometer at the time or realizing how much work I was going to have to do to get this. Once you commit yourself to doing a project and you've already, purchased the plywood and you sort of like, well, oh, great,
Look at, it's gone. It's gone. That's really funny. That's really funny. Oh no, I can get it back. Just for you guys. Look at that picture of him looking completely shocked. Excellent. I think you should put that picture of you on your Meta 7 bottles.
There you go. That's a great picture. I'm sure that'll work.
Yeah. Oh, lots of you. Hi, everyone that's on your channel too. So, hey, Hazza. Welcome. Hi, Elena, sweetheart. Yeah, they're laughing at that picture of you. Hazza, who we haven't had on before, unless they've been on is saying stop alcohol. So she stopped alcohol. That's fantastic. Supersonic. I hardly drink anymore, actually. It's not that I don't drink. It's just that don't really think about it. Don't have any alcohol in the house.
I had some this weekend, unfortunately, but actually I ran out of last bottle I didn't replace. So I haven't, outside of over the weekend, there in West Texas, we had some drinks, but that was more of a celebratory thing. And then none since. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that just helps tremendously if you're not trolling down a whole load of beers all the time. I think that's really, really good.
I thought I had made a picture of what I had cooked for my dinner last night, but basically it was mushrooms, a container of button-type mushrooms, half an onion diced up, and a whole lot of broccoli right out of the fridge. It was fresh broccoli. We had some vegetable broth. I used the rest of that up and put a little bit of vinegar in. I put a little bit of some garlic, thyme, and rosemary in there, and a little bit of chicken stuff, chicken flavoring.
Chicken flavoring, right? Yeah.
But not chicken. It's stuff that you sprinkle
Pretend
on chicken.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was okay. And then I found some whole grain chips, like that had just some at the bottom of the bag. It was almost ready to throw away. So I just crunched those up and threw those in.
Nice.
And ate it all.
That's really good. I'm looking so forward. My fridge freezer is coming on Saturday.
Oh, really? Good for you.
So the first thing I'm going to be doing is making nice cream, because a lot of people like to just chore away on food in front of the TV in the evening or after they've eaten, just wanting that something sweet. Yeah. And nice cream is basically frozen bananas.
Yeah, it's bananas,
other
right?
fruit. You can make it with dates. You can make, you can put peanuts in it. You could make pecan. Have I said that right?
Sure, why not?
And you can do all of that stuff. So you can actually be eating just a bowl of fruit, but it feels like you're tucking into a big bucket of ice cream. And I think that helps people through the winter. I know it's cold, but it never stopped me eating ice cream before.
So here's what was interesting. I hadn't seen my friends out in West Texas in a couple of years, and they're sort of business partners and friends. Our families have grown up together. We've known each other for 20 years or more, and of course I didn't share any of the fact that I had made significant dietary changes in my life, and so they were quite surprised, to say the least.
Yeah.
Number one, but number two, they were so accommodating. They just immediately like, well, what do you want to eat? Like, let's go out. We didn't go to our regular place. We went to a different place that had lots of vegan options, which was really unusual for San Angelo, which is a rather, compared to Houston, pretty small town.
Yeah.
And they loved what they ate. I mean, the food was amazing, and everybody got what they wanted. And before we went out to the ranch, we stopped by and picked up some of those Morningside brand burgers. Right? Yeah. They make those imitation burgers they're pretty good. We grilled them on foil.
Wow.
So we heated up the grill. He grilled some venison that he had killed himself, and then grilled for me. And they it was just no big deal. It was really amazingly easy for us to to still enjoy those times together that we would normally enjoy together, that it would involve food, right? So that's always a concern. I mean, because this is like, I don't know what you're going to eat. It's like
you don't want to be a pain in the backside, do you? You don't want people to go, oh, Sue's coming around. Oh, what am I going to eat?
Yeah, exactly. So it worked out really well. And before it was all done, they're like, you know what? You look so healthy. And when I told them, how my labs had changed and how I was able to come off the food, before you know it, my buddy's like, well, I think when it comes to animal products, if I don't kill it, I'm not going to eat it. He wasn't ready to, he's not ready to make the complete jump, but he said, you know what? I'm not going to buy any more dairy. I'm not going to eat any more of that stuff. He said, the only animal stuff I'll eat is if I kill it myself.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a step,
It is a step.
He's a deer hunter. I mean, he's a deer hunter. That's what he does. I mean, he during we have a few weeks of deer season every year.
Yeah.
And he keeps he farms them essentially. I mean, he puts the feeders out, so the corn goes out at the same time. They basically raise these deer, and then they'll shoot their limit. He's a bow hunter, so he shoots with a bow. And when it's, and then he does all the skinning and the butchering and all that, and he freezes it, and that's what he eats during the year.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't eat a lot. He said, you'd be surprised. I rarely will. He'll go out and have a steak or that kind of thing. He rarely will do that kind of thing. So.
Well, yeah.
I thought it was interesting.
No, that's really good, and I think the more we fold into everybody else, so we're not this sore thumb sticking out, causing a problem and being a difficulty at the family table. And like a year ago, Wink started out, oh, well, we won't be able to go there ever again then. Oh, well, that'll be the end of this then. Oh, well, that's going to happen. Oh, well, we were invited around to Sparky and Anne's, and for a Sunday roast, so we won't be able to go. And I'm like, I was on my veganry and I was on my gluten-free and I was doing my whole thing. It was this time last year, and I just said, look, I'm happy to bring my own food, but I'm really strictly doing a 30-day thing, and I'm doing vegan. Oh, no problem. Oh, we did one right, and they just had the whole vegan roast dinner and the gluten-free gravy, and it was just like...
Right. And I think most people, if they realize you're doing it to be healthy, they'll salute you and they'll applaud you and they'll get behind you on it, as opposed to, I had a guy today, patient's a husband, and his wife is so sick. I mean, I had to send her to a nephrologist. Her kidneys are failing, and she went to the nephrologist, and the nephrologist adjusted her blood pressure medicine. I said, well, did they put you on, did they talk to you about, cause I had talked to them before about, you can do this yourself, with a whole food plant-based diet. You can get significant healing in your kidneys. And I said, did the nephrologist put you on a renal diet? Did they put you on a kidney diet? And she said, oh, no, not at all. They didn't tell you to cut your animal proteins down? Because that's what they're supposed to tell you. That's what they all tell you. Oh, no, they just changed my blood pressure medicine. I said, I can't help you. I said, if you're not willing to make some obvious change, we know that animal protein causes this problem with the kidneys, and most of the nephrologists will, if your kidney function's dropping, they'll put you on a renal diet, which is a low protein diet, right?
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
And her husband sitting there, he's got this great big belly, he's in terrible shape, and he said, I'll never give up my beef. And I said, yeah, you will. You will.
One day.
You're going to stop. Whether you want to or not. Anyway, so that was interesting.
Well, Sandy is saying, yes, my brother asked me to dinner again, and this time he made it vegan for her, so that there was no problems. And my parents did that the other day. My son is very fussy with his food. And she made, I think she did 8 or 9 curry dishes, which is like Indian cuisine, because some people are
I love it. Curry? Love curry.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. And she made 2 chicken dishes for Finn, because it's the only thing he eats. And then she made a myriad of other dishes. Everything was vegan. Absolutely everything except these 2 chicken with creamy dishes, which, obviously I didn't have. And it was just absolutely delicious. It was just stunning. And everybody liked everything. So it was really, really good. So it looks like Karen has put someone in hiding by mistake. I think she's timed out Marge by mistake. So, okay, I'm glad you've all sorted that out. But it's really, really good. It's really, really good to see that a lot more people are finding their families accepting it a bit more, because they're seeing these health benefits. And I had some brilliant comments on the last 2 lives, just testimonies for the health benefits gained, and just how the group is all inclusive and how it nurtures people and how it's a support. It's not just, be healthy and don't eat meat. It's just so much more than that. And it's just absolutely beautiful to see. Hi, you're back again, Madge. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties. And I think it's really nice to hear how valuable the people that have actually gone, do you know what? I'm going to maybe give this a shot. Some people were on the edge for a little bit and teetered in, and then like, okay, maybe, or yes. And some people are still on that edge.
Right.
But the people that have got the benefit have gone, do you know what? I think I'm going the whole hog, which is probably not the right metaphor to use, but
it's the whole zucchini.
The whole zucchini. And I've gone, do you know what? I don't need that dairy. I don't need that cheese. I'm going to, and they're reaping the benefits. It's just absolutely It's really, really wonderful.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's fantastic to see that. So that's really, really good. And in fact, one of my
there's no reason we don't need to be unhealthy. It's just a matter of making the right choice. Yeah. And what a lot of people didn't realize, or what a lot of people still don't know, is that they have a choice. That they don't have to eat the way that they're eating. That they actually can take digestive control of their bodies. Yeah. And they don't have to be a slave to the advertising, and they can choose to eat healthy if they want to.
Yeah,
right.
Totally. One of my lovelies sent me, and I can't remember which lovely it was now, so sorry if I'm being an idiot here, but somebody sent me, it's what the rugby team have, it said 800 eggs and 250 kilos of beef. It might have been a bigger number of beef, will be fed to the rugby team in a month. This is how they, how they're all big burly rugby players to play rugby.
And
there's only 11 people,
and they end up with diabetes later, and they end up with cancer. It's unfortunate but true. Look at these pro the not soccer players so much, but and not NBA players so much. But you look at where you have to bulk up, like American football or rugby.
Yeah.
And where being bigger is, helpful on the field. Well, yeah. So, or sumo wrestlers, look at their lifespans.
Yeah.
Look how long on average that these people live. Look what kind of diseases they get and how quickly they get them. It's not unusual to see, football players die in their 60s. Here in America, they don't
live a long life.
They destroy their bodies, and the years of abuse, and they never stop eating this way, and they end up really sick. It's really very, very sad to see it, and these are role models.
Yeah,
and that's even worse.
But it was just so much for 11 people in a month. 800 eggs.
What do you do?
It's like, gosh, I know, but it's in the paper, in the national paper. I can't remember who sent it, but they said, I wonder what Dr. G would think of that. And I was just like, I think he'd be horrified, because we were going, we were like putting those faces.
Not only that, ask yourself, is that the best way those resources should be used? I mean, what about the resource? How much water does it take to produce 800 eggs? I mean, how much energy? How much feed? Ask yourself, is that really a good way to manage, the ground and the earth, and are we being responsible? Sure. I mean, is that a good way? I mean, does that make sense to anybody?
No, it's just crazy, isn't it? And it's, it was just,
I mean, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should.
No, but it's just like, you think, these professional rugby players, they'll be getting paid a lot of money. There is a shed ton, that's me saying it politely, of money in that sport. It's a business, isn't it, football? It's not really a sport. It's a sport. It's a business wrapped up as a sport. But you think they would have cutting-edge technology to get their team there, and it's just like, it's so old school. It was quite shocking to see really.
Rita asked a question, says you shouldn't have high cholesterol with vegan, right? Are you asking that if you become a vegan as a human being, will you still have high cholesterol? If you're asking that, I think that's what you're asking. I don't think you're asking should you eat cholesterol. I think you're asking that, right. So if you are a vegan and you are not eating any cholesterol and you are limiting any processed oils, and that's why we like to say whole food plant-based instead of use words like vegan, because they can be misconstrued.
Yeah.
But when we say whole food plant-based eater or zero cholesterol eater, what we're saying is, you're not going to put a lot of lipids and cholesterol into your body, and so because of that, those numbers will come way down on their own. Your body's not going to manufacture, unless you have a really serious genetic disorder, your body's not going to manufacture cholesterol to the point where you're going to require medication for it. In fact, if anything, you're going to get regression of plaques. Read Dr. Esselstyn's book, How to Prevent and Reverse Heart Disease.
Yeah.
Fantastic book. I think I put a copy of it up last time as maybe a secondary book for people to read. But there is actually research out there that Dr. Ornish and Dr. Esselstyn did years ago. Now, this is not new stuff, guys.
Esselstyn, is he the centurion?
He's probably in his 90s now, and he looks really thin and healthy. And his son is Rip Esselstyn. He's the one that did the Firehouse Diet and some other books like that. Right. But basically just carries the message a little further. But Dr. Ornish and Dr. Esselstyn, they're heart doctors who
Dr.
discovered
Ellsworth.
They discovered pardon me?
Dr. Ellsworth.
I don't know Ellsworth, but
amazing.
Look, we don't have to reinvent the wheel here. We don't have to do new research. We have the research. We know. Every time somebody comes, there's a study that came out just this last year at the World Health Organization that said a high fiber diet reduces your risk of heart disease. Well, you don't get a high fiber diet if you're eating beef, right? You have to cut the animal products out to get a high fiber diet. A high fiber diet is a more plant-based diet. So guess what? Now they're saying what we already know. We don't need new studies. We have all the information. Yeah. What we need to do is just get smart. Yeah. What we need to do is just start eating right and treating our bodies with some kind of respect instead of treating them like garbage disposals, which is what most of us do. Yeah.
Well, yes, we do. Absolutely. Totally do that. It's just, it's incredible, really. And for bulking up, there are so many vegan or whole food plant-based bodybuilders that are absolutely ripped, the Mr. like Arnold Schwarzenegger, and they're plant-based. So, if you need to bulk up for some kind of sport, it doesn't have to be that. I've got some questions here. Linda is saying, hi Beverly, hi Mary Beth, hi Nancy. Linda is saying, I know this isn't whole grain, but does Diet Coke make you gain weight?
There's some people that believe it does. There are some people that say that, when you drink the artificial sweeteners, that it somehow stimulates a desire for more grains and oils or whatever. But the answer is no. The Diet Coke can't make you directly. It might have an indirect effect on you where you crave sweets, and you may want to eat a lot of empty calories. I mean, that's potentially true.
It could be a intro one. I've got Nancy here. Just a high five. Nancy started her journey on Monday, and she said she found it quite interesting. She's lost 3 pounds so far, and she's already sleeping better. She's had nothing from animal, no sugar and no risen bread, lots of water, and she's really liking it. So Nancy is 3 days in to this. Isn't that fantastic?
So we've given up animal products. We've given up bread. So does that mean no she's given up any yeast risen bread for some reason?
Yeah, no risen bread. Maybe that's gluten. I don't know. No processed sugars.
Okay.
And she's drinking lots of water, but the sleeping she's already lost some weight, which you probably would do immediately as well. But that's
just
so
by
good
giving up animal products, you're usually going to give up a lot of salt, and usually you'll flush out some fluids almost immediately.
Yeah.
So giving up animal products, of course, we always recommend that. We want to go whole food, plant-based. We want to be as close to the origin of that food as possible. So somebody just asked me when I'm sautéing vegetables, what do I do instead of Evo? I don't know what Evo is, EVOO, or vegetable oil. Well, you put water in the pan. You just put water in the pan, and you saute it. I mean, it's not, if you call that a saute, that's what I do. I just throw vegetables in a pan. I have a wok that goes right on the stove, and I wok it up. I throw veggies in there, heat it up with water, a cup of water, and it just heats it up, and it cooks them up, and I flavor them however I want, and I eat them.
Wow, that's a good tip there. I'm going to have to try that. Saute in water. Fantastic. Beverly.
I may not be using the term saute correctly either. I'm not a chef by any stretch,
I guess
but I've learned to prepare stuff to eat, if that counts.
I suppose you're kind of steaming and slightly boiling, but I guess you cook things so that they're crunchy anyway. Al dente.
Yeah, I don't like them to be soggy. I like them to be cooked, but still a little bit crunchy.
Yeah.
Right?
Al dente,
I like the onions to be cooked until they're a little soggy. I don't like crunchy onions.
Yeah.
I don't like that. If I want something crunchy, I can put some almonds or cashews in there. I can get some crunch out of the deal. That's not a big deal.
Yeah, but I know exactly what you mean.
But I don't use vegetable oils of any kind anymore.
Yeah.
They're just not healthy.
Yeah. Oh no, absolutely not. But back in the day, my grandparents, they would put the sprouts on, and they'd put them on in the morning, and they would just be boiling away until no wonder nobody liked them. And the vegetables used to go on like half an hour before, it's just what they used to do.
Yeah.
And my granny used to mash the cabbage with a saucer in the colander, and it would almost be like a puree.
No kidding.
And that's how the school cooked cabbage as well. And because I used to eat all the cabbage from the whole table, because I was the one that I like. None of the kids like their vegetables, but I've always liked my vegetables, so I used to get 10 portions of vegetables and just eat everybody's. So, but yeah, I wouldn't like to eat it like that now, of course. So everyone's congratulating Nancy for joining. I'm just so pleased. That is a new person who's gone, do you know Wonderful. What? I'm going to give this a go. I'm just absolutely delighted for you, Nancy. Beverly said, Beverly with her bad doctor she's running away from. She said, my bad doctor in 6 years never, that's in capitals, gave me or mentioned my BMI or weight. Just thought of that, she said. She said, throwing that in.
Well, some people think it's rude.
Really? You got to get real. This is people's lives. I'm so glad that you're so real.
Let's see. You have high blood pressure, your cholesterol's up, you're stage 2 obese, and you have gout. Now, do you get gout flare-ups only when you drink beer, or is that pretty regularly when you eat your meat products? I just ask them, well, what do you mean by meat products? So, I mean, you eat animals, don't you? I mean, that's where gout comes from. We don't get gout from eating plants. It comes from...
I always thought it was from being a bit of an alcoholic.
It's a part of life. Like, well, what am I supposed to eat? Well, I mean, technically you're supposed to eat what stuff you're not eating now. I just give them a copy of that Proteinaholic, the cover of the book. I give them that copy. I say, go home and read this. And some people do, some don't. At least I tried. Yeah. I still got to get through the day. I still got to give them their medications because they're there for their follow-ups.
Yeah, for sure.
It's getting frustrating, though. I got to tell you, it really is. As a physician, to see all these people that are coming through that I know they absolutely could reverse their disease if they would just change their diet, it's actually starting to wear on me a little bit. I'm finding it more and more frustrating to feel as compassionate or empathetic about it all. Because I do realize it's not entirely their fault because they haven't been informed, but a lot of them by now, I've informed them. Yeah. I mean, I'm telling them. Yeah. They're not listening. Some are, but the vast majority are not, and they're not going to. Just like the guy today says, I'm never going to give up my hamburgers. I'm never going to give up my beef.
Yeah.
Okay. But I guarantee he'll be back in and he'll complain about his medicines and the price and how he had to wait to come in and why did he have to take his day off to come in and, all of this, the complaints that, but he could just eat right and it'd all go away.
Yeah, you don't have to take any days off. You can just be healthy.
He's not going to give up his beef.
No.
But he'll complain about everything else. He'll take his, he complained about how much time he had to spend taking his wife back and forth to different doctors because she's got multiple medical problems and she's morbidly obese. And she's, I know how she's eating because I see him and I know how he's eating. And I just wanted to say, well, this is pretty much how it's going to be for you guys for the rest of your lives unless you make some dramatic changes. Well, what do you mean? I said, you got to stop. You got to change the way you're eating, the way you're living. Well, I'm never going to give that up. I said, well, what you're going through now, this is going to continue. This is not going to get better. There's not the right combination. And my goodness, she's on 6 blood pressure medicines alone. This is not going to change by, you name it. She's Anyway, it's so frustrating because I know that if they'll be willing to make the change, if they'll actually make a change to a whole food plant-based lifestyle, or at least begin to reduce because all they're eating are the animal products. That's it. She's getting dairy because she's told she needs dairy for her bones and protein and eating meat. I mean, it's just, and she's really, really heavy, and her mobility is really poor.
Yeah. Because
she can't lift her weight very well.
Yeah.
And so she's getting sicker, and it's beginning to frustrate me because, I know that there's a better way, but I can't make people make the change. I want it for them more than they want it.
Yeah.
And that I'm finding that more and more difficult as the further down this journey we go, because, here I'm not only just giving them the information, I'm not only being an advocate for eating healthier and a healthier lifestyle and saving them money and time, because of avoiding health problems, but I'm living it. I'm exemplifying it right in front of them. I'm showing them as an example, this works.
Yeah.
And some people simply will not be convinced. They simply will not ever make that change.
No, and it's the mindset thing, and it's also, there is so much emotional attachment to what we put in our mouths, and this is something you said you hadn't heard of him, Dr. Ellsworth Wareham. I think he's 104 now, but he was a cardio.
I think I might have seen a video he did, or a video about him. Let me see, Dr. Ellsworth.
There, him. This guy by my fingernail. Can you see that?
Dr. Ellsworth Wareham. Did he pass?
No, he's still going, and
he's dead. He died December 20th.
Oh no, did he?
Yes.
Oh, well, this was 5 years ago, this video is from, I think.
Yeah, vegan. His name was Ellsworth Wareham. He died at age 104.
Yes.
And I think he was in the movie, was he in Forks Over Knives?
He may have been. I'm not sure. But I was just
He was in Loma Linda. Yeah, he lived in Loma Linda.
Yeah, that's a place where there's an abnormally large amount of
centenarians, right? It's a blue zone. It's a blue zone there, right? I'm trying to find out if he was a Seventh-day Adventist.
Oh, I'm sad to see he died, because this video is from when he was 98.
I think he was one of the Seventh-day Adventists that took part in. He was born in Texas, raised in Alberta, Canada. Navy surgeon. He performed more than 12,000 artists according to the Adventist, or operations according to the Adventist Review. So I'm thinking, okay, here it is right here. Blue Zone pioneer and cardiologist. I believe he was a Seventh-day Adventist, though. And so what's very interesting about the Seventh-day Adventists is they're one of the most studied groups of people on the planet.
Really? I don't even know what is a Seventh-day Adventist.
Seventh-day Adventists basically are very strict that the Sabbath is on Saturday.
Oh, right. Okay.
I think that's the thing that separates them denominationally. I mean, I'm not an expert, but I think that's sort of their, I believe the Sabbath is Saturday. I mean, El Sábado is Spanish for Saturday. Sábado.
Yeah.
Sábado, Sabbath, Saturday.
Yeah,
but a lot of people think the Sabbath is on Sunday, when the truth is Sunday is the Lord's day.
Yeah.
It's the first day of the week, not the last day of the week.
Yeah.
So anyway, the Seventh-day Adventists, as a group, are extremely cooperative and allowing scientists to study them.
Oh, wow.
And they're very long-lived because the vast majority of them eat almost no meat.
Yeah.
They don't eat animal products.
No.
Almost like if you talk to, I want to say Mormons, but I think they prefer, I think they have a different name they prefer than Mormon. I don't know. But they don't, true Mormonism, they won't drink even caffeinated beverages. They don't drink caffeine, no nicotine, no alcohol. They're very strict on all of those things. Although I think they eat meat products. So I think it's a little bit different. But they still have a longer average lifespan than the average American. does a member of the Latter-day Saints. Yeah, that's what I want to say. That the Church of. So the interesting thing about the Seventh-day Adventists, though, is there have been a lot of studies that have been done, a lot of epidemiological studies that actually they have stratified the Seventh-day Adventists in Loma Linda, California, into groups. And so they have the groups that are the pure vegans, and then they have the groups that are the pure vegans, but they also will have processed oils. And then they have the next group, which will be pure vegans, processed oils, and some fish. Wow. And then the next group, pure vegan, all of that. And so they actually, and then they let them, this group of people allows scientists to come in and they do surveys for them on what they eat they're so cooperative as a group of individuals. And it's been so amazing for science to have this group that allows themselves to be, to go under the microscope the way they do, because we've learned so much about the difference between somebody who's. That's why I can look at you and somebody says, "Well, fish is okay, right?" Doc said, "Sure, you can eat fish. You're not going to be as healthy as a pure vegan, but you can have fish." Well, wait a minute. I thought fish was good for you. Well, you're not getting it, okay? Yeah. I'm not saying fish can't be good for you. I'm just saying if you want to live and be as healthy as you can be, you need to avoid all animal products, period. Yeah. But if you want to be not quite that healthy, then have some fish. If you want to be not quite as healthy as that group, throw in the processed oils. Yeah. If you want to be not quite as happy, then maybe you just have steak on Sundays only. Maybe you fall into that group. But everything that you add takes you further away from optimal health.
Yeah, and also it leads to having something else. Oh, well, I've had one, I may as well have another.
Well, that's why I think it's like for me, with my food addiction, which I've freely brought out here many a times, I will, me doing my intermittent fasting, which I still don't eat on Mondays and Thursdays, has helped me not only maintain, but continue to see incremental weight drops that are not only sustainable, but have become just a part of my life now. Yeah. So I'm not on a diet, folks. Yeah. And this is what I tell people. What are you on? Did you do a diet? No. I just changed my life. Yeah. Well, what'd you do? And then when I can really I have a chance if I can get them interested, because they see how much healthier I appear, how much healthier I am. And then when I tell them the medicines I'm no longer needing, and what my numbers are on my labs and so on and so forth, then I can get a spark of interest, especially in the younger folks in their 30s, and some in their 40s. But when they get beyond, it seems like when you get them in their 50s or 60s, they're a lot more curmudgeonly. It's also, they just don't want to change. And I understand that. But even in people with lung cancer, if we can get them to finally quit smoking, there's research that shows that it'll improve their quality of life. They on average will live longer if they go ahead and quit, even if they've already been diagnosed with lung cancer. When everybody really thinks, I've already got cancer, I might as well keep on smoking, no reason to quit now. That's actually not true, right? So, but even those older folks, so if we can get them to make the change, they're going to live longer and healthier. Yeah. Right? So
yes, it is. It is incredible, and that's the thing that struck me about this.
I'm sorry your doctor died, by the way. I mean, that guy, what a great life he lived, and what an example he was.
He's just such a honey. I was just, even Wink stopped what he was doing and listened to what he had to say. He
was captivating.
He was just like everybody's granddad. He was just like lovely. I'm really sorry to hear that he died. But one thing he said, you can talk to people about, getting a bit more exercise or maybe getting a little bit fitter. You can talk to a lot of people about that. But as soon as you talk to people about what they eat, people become very defensive. They become very sensitive about it. It's very, very hard to tell people that they should eat something different. But you can tell them they ought to go to the gym and do, 20 press-ups a week.
Right? Eat all you want. Destroy your body, but somehow you're going to spend 30 minutes in the gym and you can reverse all of that.
Yeah.
And people say, well, I need to hit the gym, don't I, Doc? I'm going to start working out this year. And I say, you know what? I don't care if you work out or not. It's not important. What is important is if you'll change your diet. If you'll change your diet, I'll be more proud of you because it takes more forethought and it'll do more good for you than planning on doing a New Year's resolution that I'm going to work out 3 times a week. Because I used to work out 5 days a week. I used to lift heavy weights for 90 minutes nonstop 5 days a week. And every day was a different muscle group. And I was a solid, monstrous beast of a man. Okay? I could bench press 400 pounds twice. Okay? Now, that's a lot of weight. I could do it twice. Wow. 2 lifts. Okay, most people live their whole lives and can never bench press 300 pounds. I could bench 400 pounds. I could leg lift, okay, all the weight that you could put on the machine, plus all the free weights that you could add, and then get 2 guys to climb up on top of the machine, and I could squat it, okay? So I was a very powerful man just 10 years ago, but I was killing myself. The things that I was doing, I was eating 8 to 12,000 calories a day. You know, I set myself up for where I ended up, right? I ended up with kidneys that weren't working right, a pre-diabetes, high blood pressure, cholesterol problems. I was on inhalers. Yeah. I mean, my goodness, why did I do that to myself? Yeah. Because I thought, man, I'm going to be in great shape. I'm going to, because nobody gave me the facts.
Yeah.
Science the facts were there. I didn't know about them.
Yeah.
When I found out about them and I said, you mean I don't have to live like this? I mean, all of my patients don't have to be this way? We can actually get healthy?
Yeah.
I'm astonished. I'm still astonished.
Yeah.
I'm still astonished
at
the changes that I've made, but that this information is out there and it's being ignored by everyone.
I know. And us. I think that it is weird.
And this little group, these little groups like us that are starting to pop up all over, I think, that are saying, hey, we don't have to be sick. And there are people like your friend that does the fruitarian, the chef that you had on, the nice Alicia. Lady that made me give up my
cola, the zero Coke.
I don't even want to say it. Just I don't want to say it.
Move on by.
There are a lot of people like her that have been out there on the circuit. They've been talking and they've been cooking and they've been bruising themselves against that wall of resistance. And for them, I think, to see that in the last 10 years, we've gone from probably 1% vegan to 5% that identify themselves as something like a vegan in the United States. And I don't know what the numbers are in UK, but I bet they're somewhat similar.
Yeah, they are.
Every year that we continue this and we continue to work hard to get the message out, even if it's a boring message, even if it is just a few simple things, but we continue to go over those same things over and over again. I think we're gonna get more people involved. I won't say followers. This is not a cult, but sometimes I feel like we should be chanting, in the airports,
Yes, come on.
Eat a potato, eat a carrot.
Wake up!
Carrot, broccoli, whatever. Nobody better put that on Facebook. I don't want ever.
Yeah, I know.
Not allowed to clip this. My image is copyrighted. Okay, so. All right. Okay.
Right. And we're back in the room.
Well, it is. It's the same message, though. It's so important, right? We have to inviting people and saying,
keep passing. Oh, we've got Geraldine. Okay, she's 76 and she's just become plant-based on the 12th of January, 18.
Wonderful.
So, and there's someone else, Nancy, who's just started her journey 3 days ago. She's going to be 63 in 2 months and changing her journey now.
Wonderful.
When you look at like the average age of the human being now is around 80, 82, 83, and you look at this Dr. Ellsworth, and quite rightly, Beverly, you said, but look how long he lived. He lived to be 104. But do you know what? He wasn't just sitting there having someone feeding him. He was mowing his own backyard. He was cutting his own grass. He was bouncing up and down his own staircase several times a day. He was keeping active. And he worked until he was 95. And the people that he worked with, they didn't want him to stop being a cardiovascular surgeon. They didn't want him to give up, but he decided maybe he should spend a bit more time with his family. But, you know, he lived a very long but active life, you know. And so when we say I'm 76, is it 76, Geraldine? I'm 76 and I'm starting now. Look how many years that is to 104. That's just like
wonderful.
It's just like so many years. You know, and rather than thinking, oh, I'm approaching my 80s, you know, where with the average, you know, age of a human, you know, it's just like, be super healthy at that age, and you can change all that so quickly. I mean, we've like, you know, type 2 diabetes gone in like 11 weeks after a 4-year kind of not getting anywhere with it. It's just like,
Rita just said,
amazing.
Rita Holloway is telling us that her A1C has dropped significantly. She's been vegan for 7 months, but she's asking questions about her cholesterol. Okay. Apparently, she's still having trouble with her cholesterol. And so I'm just throwing out here some ideas. First of all, if you're a whole food plant-based eater and you still have high cholesterol, there's something wrong. Either you're still getting processed oils. Number one is a likelihood. You may be getting processed oils somewhere you don't know about. So if you're eating any packaged foods at all, you need to be checking those. Okay. I just bought some prunes at the grocery store. I bought prunes and bananas on the way home, and I checked the packages, and one of the packages of the prunes had vegetable oil in it, and I couldn't figure out why they put vegetable oil in with the prunes. Maybe so they don't stick together or something. I mean, there might be a reason.
Yeah.
But you know, but see what I'm saying is you got to be looking. You got to kind of anything in a package, be wary. Just look and understand what you're getting. And the other thing is that I said regarding her cholesterol, and this is important too. Not all cholesterol is bad, guys. You have to have some cholesterol. Your body will manufacture it. But your body's going to manufacture cholesterol usually in correct amounts for good health, all right? Mm. Now, if your cholesterol is high, but a lot of your cholesterol is actually HDL, which is high density lipoprotein, that's good. That's good cholesterol. Okay?
Yeah.
If it's a lot of it's LDL, which stands for low down lousy. Oh, I'm sorry. No, that's not what it stands for.
No.
It stands for low density lipoprotein, right?
Right.
Okay, so if a lot of it's LDL, that's the bad cholesterol. So that is a problem. So if you're a whole food plant-based eater and you're avoiding all vegetable oils, you're not putting olive oil on everything, you're not having salads with vinaigrette, all those things that we do because anything that you add oil to is going to taste better. The oil just brings the flavors out. It's so easy to get a salad and then put 500 or 600 calories of vinaigrette on it without even thinking about it. You know, it's just a couple of shakes, 200, 400, 500 calories, and you're done, right? I mean, you don't even think about, but those oils, not only can they play into your triglyceride and cholesterol levels, they actually decrease your body's sensitivity to insulin. All right? Almost like an animal product. All right. So we want to stay away from highly processed foods, and we want to our best of our ability, and try as I may, and I'm trying. I'm no Dr. Esselstyn, because I know his diet. He has such a regimented diet that, I mean, he probably hadn't had a processed oil in 20 years.
Yeah.
But I'm still working on that. That's sort of my goal this year, is to get the rest of those processed oils out and find ways around. So I'm still having to work on making sure that things that I eat are actually natural and stay away from those processed oils. So there you go. That, you know, I'm trying to get that really cholesterol question answered, because cholesterol can go up and down even on a plant-based diet if you're not careful with your oils and your alcohol. They can play into that.
Right. That's really good to know, because I think it's very easy to think, well, I'm only eating plants, and then you know, there are a lot of malnutritioned vegans out there who eat vegan junk. You know.
Well, that's true. It's unfortunate, but true.
Yeah, it is.
And they probably are healthier than people that eat meat.
Yeah.
But they're on the somewhere on the spectrum, right? Different kind of spectrum, but they're on that spectrum of super healthy to worst unhealthy. They're going to be closer to being healthy. But they probably could do a lot better if they'd stay away from packaged foods. A long time ago,
processed sugars and oils. Yeah, absolutely.
I heard somebody say that if you want to be healthy, don't eat things that come in a can or a package. Now, I didn't ever pay any attention to that because I thought that was ridiculous because lots of stuff comes in cans and packages. I know better now. But if you think about it, if you stay away from stuff that comes in cans and packages, it makes it a lot easier to be a whole food plant-based eater, right?
Yeah, it does. Absolutely. Fantastic. It's very frustrating. Yeah, supermarket. Yeah, lots of people eat a load of junk. Helen lost her husband in November, bless her. And she's doing a lot better now. She's eating a lot of more healthy foods with her kids. And she's learning to begin to sleep again now. She lost him to a tragic accident that was just just awful. So everyone's supporting her, which is absolutely fantastic. Wink is going upstairs with a giant steak, just to let you all know that. And he's just going like that as he's leaving the room.
You're diet shaming him.
I know. Well, no, he just thinks it's funny, I got vegetable. Actually, he's got broccoli today, so it's not just potato and meat today.
So if you think about it, steak is actually vegan if you consider it a processed food.
No, you're making that up, Jack.
No, I'm serious. Well, I mean, all it is you've taken all these vegetables and you put them into a machine called a cow, and then you processed them, and you cut that meat out. So again, it's just processed. All cow beef is processed vegetables. I'm saying take the middle cow out of the picture.
Yeah, let's cut the middleman out.
Get the middle cow out.
It's like buying directly from the manufacturer, isn't it? If you just eat the planet,
don't make it go through the cow.
Excellent. What's Nancy saying? No cheese, please. Use. I don't know that one. Alexa, stop. Alexa's chatting away now for some reason. Nancy's saying no cheese, please. Use olive oil or water, veggie broth. Love learning new ways to cook. Very interesting. Hubby is still a carnivore, but doing some better things with his own diet for diabetes. So that's excellent. You lead the way there and pass on the good word, Nancy. That's fantastic. Dr. Gilmore is on Instagram. Are you on Instagram?
I'm trying, it's the DW. She is decided that she wants to direct social media, and so she took over the Facebook, and Abby is actually helping with the Instagram.
Excellent.
Now, because
it's
she
her
gets
generation.
It.
Yeah, all the youngsters are on Instagram, and a lot of people of Abby's age aren't on Facebook because all their parents are on that forum, so they don't want to keep bumping into their parents online. So it is. So it's really, really good that she's helping because they do chat on that media for sure.
Well, I want to make a contribution. I want people to get the benefit of our videos, my clinic videos, and the benefit of that time, because I don't know how long that's going to last for me. I don't know how long I'll be able to continue to make those kind of videos. So I want to get that, get those into different places and reach different audiences, because if I can attract them to look at those videos, maybe they'll come look at these too,
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm just like, I'm trying to, I was talking to the wonderful DW actually, over the week, the Fruit Fest, I'd love you to come over to the Fruit Fest. I think you would absolutely love it. I think you would meet lots of really interesting people, and I think you would really, really like it. And I think the DW would, and I think the DD would. I think that Abby would like it as well. And she was like, "Ooh!" So it was. But I'm really hoping to do a lot of good on this channel by interviewing and speaking to. There's going to be upwards of 300 vegans there. Most people will have been on some kind of journey. Very few people go there from being completely non-healthy eating people and start straight off. But there'll be a lot of raw vegans there, fruitarians there, people who are, some of them who are going full vegan for the first time, but loads of information and loads of wonderful stories of people that have actually changed the outlook of their health, both mental health, and physical health, as well. So I think I'm really, really looking forward to that. Hi, Chrissy, darling. So I don't know. I'm going to send you the information because I don't know whether it's on a holiday when Abby's not at school, but it will be lovely at some point to have you over there because I think you'd really enjoy it. But they do have them in the US as well. I think it might be called Woodstock. Might not be. Might have got that wrong. But I think that will be a chance for a lot of people to see many, many different faces, most of whom have started the journey because they wanted to take control of their health and get better, or not be looking down the nose of some awful disease like diabetes that just kind of takes over your life. So I think that will be really, really interesting. And I think you're right. There are lots of these groups popping up now. I see loads of stuff now. And I think it's important to help people. No, I mean, I think, was it Nancy saying it takes her so long to do the shopping now because she's just like reading all the packs and they're all so small, and then you're like, oh, and I thought that was good. Oh, right, I can't be having that. And then but in the end, you'll find the things that you know are okay. I made a big mistake.
Accidental eating.
Yeah.
That's my goal too, and that's what I'm working on this year. This year is going to be the year of no oils, right? That's what I'm working on because I've done the other. The next step for me is making sure that I really double down and get those processed oils out of my diet. Yeah. That's what I'm working on.
That's amazing because this is what this Dr. Ellsworth was saying. If you can get and you'll know what it is, below your cholesterol, I think, but he called it another. Is that API? Is that what cholesterol is? I don't know. Maybe I'm just remembering wrong numbers and letters here. Below 150, the chances of you having
triglycerides.
Yeah, that'll be it. The chances.
Are you talking about triglycerides or cholesterol? They're different things.
Well, if I finish the sentence, you might be able to work out what it is. He says, if you can get it below 150. The likelihood of you having a heart attack due to cholesterol, he was a cardiovascular surgeon, is very, very low. And his was 117. So he said, I'm absolutely not going to have a heart attack, not from that, unless I have some kind of defect with my heart. And he was saying he used to go out in the 50s to, Africa and countries like that didn't actually eat hardly any meat. And he would do like congenital heart defect surgery, like a hole in the heart and things like this. And he said it was very, very, very rare that we ever got to see anyone who had blocked arteries, arterial heart disease?
Right, that's coronary heart disease.
Coronary heart disease. So he's saying if that number is below 150, that it's it's very slim that you would have a heart, like a heart disease that would come from that.
Right. So that number is probably a total cholesterol number then. I'm guessing that's total cholesterol. Because a good LDL is below 100. So that's bad cholesterol. And a good HDL is over 40. So the higher the HDL, the better, and the lower the LDL, the better.
I'm going to look that up and I'll put it in the comments.
Yeah, okay.
But he's mentioned in a couple of interviews that his number was 117. So he was way below. And he said, eating a plant-based diet, he's like, I'm kind of heart attack proof. I am definitely not going to have coronary heart disease related to, the arteries and I guess by cutting out processed oils.
Right.
Because he said you don't want to have, and he was talking about saturated fats, which is animal fat, and
usually. Yeah.
And then usually, and the polysaturated, and he was talking about the mono fats that you get from eating fruits and vegetables, which are healthy. And so he was linking it all to that basically. And he was kind of talking about being heart attack proof, and the interviewer was kind of playing on that. And it was really interesting. So I guess, as you said, if you have lots of refined processed oils, even though that they're plant-based or nut-based, it's still processed. Therefore, you could still be doing yourself damage because you're right. Our taste buds are kind of programmed to like salty things, sugary things, and fatty things.
Right.
So we add all of those things into all of our dishes. All the cheap food has a lot of sugar, salt, and fat in it, so that we go, oh, nom nom, really nice.
Right.
Yeah. So I will definitely find out what and put that in the comments.
In that book by Dr. Esselstyn, he talks a lot about these lipid changes. And the reduction of coronary heart disease in his book, How to Prevent or Reverse Heart Disease. So that's why I think that once you've read Proteinaholic, if you're looking for the next thing to read Dr. Esselstyn's book, How to Prevent and Reverse Heart Disease, I think is the title. Because what Sue is saying is absolutely correct. Vegans worldwide, cholesterol levels are so low that Western science doesn't even understand them. Look, it's like when I have reps that come in with cholesterol-lowering agents, medications, I like to fool with them a little bit and I like to ask them what percentage of vegans were included in their studies because they don't study vegans, right? They don't talk to vegans because vegans, there's no
they're not sick, are they?
Not sick enough to make their study.
Yeah.
You don't even get in the study, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Right, I've got, and that is absolutely true. It is so true. And you've said it before. Dr. Gilmore looks 15 years younger since he did the cleanse. That's what Beverly's saying. So you're getting a compliment over the waves here.
Well, thank you. That's from
the lovely Beverly. Nancy's winking at me. Right, Beverly, a few people have asked me if we can change a day back to one of the days when we're fasting.
We can. Let me. Robin had a question.
Robin.
She says, okay, to be clear, no processed oils. However, eating the olive, coconut, and the avocado themselves is still okay, or is it vital to monitor intake as well? All right, so let's review where this isn't, because we try to come up with catchy phrases and ideas that make this easy. And so let's see where this would fit in. So you guys have heard me say, and Robin, you have too, 80-10-10, right? 80% fresh fruits and vegetables. And then we say what? 10% mushrooms?
Yeah.
And then 10% nuts and seeds and starches, right?
Yeah.
The heavy starches, right? All right, so if you're going to eat nuts and seeds, and you're going to keep that into that 10% of your total dietary intake, you're fine. You don't have to count them. Now, when you start doing things like eating lots and lots of avocados or eating the coconut itself, you potentially could or the olive, even lots of olives, you could potentially get a little bit more triglycerides in your diet. But typically, people don't eat that much of those things. I mean, actual shredded coconut or actually eating olives versus the oils. I mean, you're much, much more likely to get too much processed oil if you're getting coconut oil, olive oil, when you eat the olive, you're getting so much fiber. When you eat the coconut, when you're getting so much fiber. When you're eating the avocado itself, you're getting so much fiber that you're actually going to become satiated. You're going to get full before you can eat so much of it that it's actually going to upset your triglycerides, okay? Yeah. So eat a variety, mix these things together. Don't just eat, lots of one kind of thing. Right? So, but 80% should be fresh fruits and vegetables. And if you want to throw olives and coconut shreds in there and you want to do avocados in there, you're going to be fine. You're going to still be healthy. You're going to be good. But if you start dumping the vinaigrette, onto your salad that has that oil in it, that's where you're going to get into a problem with your triglycerides going up and actually not getting as good a benefit with insulin sensitivity as you'd like to have. Yeah. And I hope that makes sense, and I tried to use our 80-10-10 to kind of help answer that question, just to show that not everything exactly fits, but for the most part it does.
Yeah, for the most part it does really. Nancy is gluten free and being vegan, so she's finding it interesting, and I think what I found is. You could get a vegan meal, but there'd be a load of gluten. So it would be like, right, do I avoid the gluten or do I just eat the meat and have the gluten-free thing or what, now it would be, I would just go with the gluten. But if you're, a celiac or you're gluten intolerant, and although there aren't very many, I think you told me when I was in Texas, only 1% of the population are gluten intolerant. There we go.
Holding up the 1%.
1%. I think, I don't think I'm gluten intolerant at all, but I don't have such a food coma if I'm not eating a load of gluten. So if I eat a load of glutinous products, products with gluten in them, not glutinous, I just feel a bit more like, than I would if I hadn't. So that's my choice.
Sue? You may actually have a bit of a gluten sensitivity. Yeah. I mean, you may. If you feel that way after you eat a gluten containing product,
I get very bloated.
You might be one of that 1%. But
doesn't that make you really ill?
Well,
like celiacs would get really ill if they ate.
Right. Some people get really sick if they consume gluten. Some just don't feel good. Yeah. So there are different levels of how it affects people. Yeah. Where I get a little bit upset about it is you walk through the processed cereal aisle and now they're all plastered gluten free, and to the point where it's causing this idea that nobody should ever eat gluten. Yeah. When in reality it's really just a very small percentage of the population that needs to know that if something contains gluten. Now I think it's important; it should be on the package, but now they're putting it in such a way to make it look like. This is really a product. Nobody should ever have gluten. Well, wait a minute. You shouldn't have gluten. Get this yogurt. You know what I mean? This is, and that's definitely wrong. So there, understanding what's in the food, understanding what these things mean. Is it important or not? These are the answers we're all, trying to find. Yeah. But I know a lot of people, I think a lot of people think they're gluten, they have a problem with gluten that maybe they just have they eat a lot of carbohydrates. Yeah. And they eat a lot of processed carbohydrates. Yeah. And as a result, they totally divert blood flow from the brain down to the digestive system to help handle this processed food load, and they just feel really tired. Yeah.
Because that's what happens. The body would rather make you go to sleep so it can put all its resources into sorting out the mess that you've just put into your gut so that it can keep your blood pH balanced. Because that's a delicate thing. If it goes up and down, is it 2% either way? You're kind of dead.
Well,
blood pH. It's a very small margin.
pH is a logarithmic scale. It's not a percentage scale, so you can't say percentage. But the pH system,
goes up or down too.
Right. The acidity in the blood is tightly controlled by metabolic events, kidney events, and respiratory events. So the body pH is very, very tightly controlled.
Yeah.
So when you eat a lot of food, you have to digest it, and to digest food takes a lot of energy, and the blood flow is diverted to the digestive system, so you have less flow available to think and be energetic, and that's why a lot of people like to eat and take a nap, right?
Yeah, like they have a big Christmas dinner, the roast dinner that's you've got your meat, you've got your vegetables, you've got your gravy with your gluten in it, and sorry to mention gluten again, but you've got your kind of grain-based, flour-based products in there. Right. You'll have the sugar, you'll have sugary things, bread pudding, and Yorkshire puddings, and all sorts of stuff there on your plate. And you'll have had some maybe beer or some wine to have with that, and you'll have had some rich nibbly bits beforehand, and some crisps and some dips, and then you'll have a great big pudding, like, I don't know what American puddings are, key lime pie and, pumpkin pie or whatever with custard and ice cream on it. And then you might have a liqueur, and then you'll have a coffee, and then you might have a piece of fruit at the end of it. And then all of that is in your gut. And as we've discussed before, there are different digestive enzymes which are needed to process different types of food. And they can't all process at the same time. And your body just goes, oh my God, let's just put him to sleep while we sort this mess out. And that's why you feel very tired after, very kind of like you need to take a nap, or why there's a whole lot of let's go and walk off Christmas dinner, and everyone goes off for a long walk afterwards to try and get the food baby to go down. But
there you
I
go,
think, you're probably right. A lot of people think they're gluten intolerant because of the processed nonsense they're eating and the ready meals and the fast food they're eating.
I completely agree with that statement. I completely agree with that. I think that I'll also say this, that if avoiding gluten helps people avoid processed flour, then that's a good thing.
Yeah,
right?
It is a good thing.
It is a good thing then. As long as they understand, as long as they don't avoid, I'd rather have them eat processed flour than a cheeseburger.
Yes.
Okay, so don't avoid the processed flour because you think you have a gluten sensitivity, and eat the cheeseburger. Well, there was nothing else, so I had to eat the meat. Don't fall into that trap. Yeah. So that's all I'm trying to. That's where I'm coming from here.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that avoiding gluten is a bad idea. What I'm saying is if you're truly gluten insensitive, then you need to avoid it at all costs. If you just don't like it, okay. But don't make that a reason not to make a plant-based substitute instead of meat, right?
Yeah.
So be reasonable. Just understand what you're doing and why. But I think you're right. I think that a lot of people, they avoid gluten and they feel better because what they're really avoiding, the majority of them, is they're avoiding this processed flour. And the processed flour is a calorie-dense processed food that makes them feel tired. It makes them feel sleepy and irritable and all those things that we used to feel when we'd eat a big meal, because it takes more of it for you to feel satiety, for you to feel full, and so you're overeating.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's interesting, because a lot of old thought processes have just clicked in my head there. And I think, I think it does make you avoid kind of, because we put the complex carbohydrate together with sugar and fat and just kind of...
And salt.
And we kind of, we shot our own foot off basically when we started farming and using, tractors to farm, and when we could yield so much that we started giving the crops rather than using it to make bread for us. We had so much left over that we started feeding it to the cattle. And
we started making sweeteners out of corn.
Yeah.
So we stopped bringing in the sugar. We found that we could make corn syrup, which was sweeter than sugar, and we could process it and produce it cheaper than sugar.
Yeah.
And we didn't have to bring it in from the great big sugar farms in the Caribbean islands, right? So all of a sudden, more and more of our cropland is going to these processed this corn sweetener and to cattle feed.
Yeah.
It's amazing. If you took out if you take out the amount of cropland that's used to raise corn and other products, other grains to feed animals, and you also removed the cropland out of the equation that's used to raise corn for high fructose corn syrup, right?
Yeah.
We're probably using 60% of our cropland for those two things right there.
Wow.
I mean, just think about that. I mean, it's an amazing misuse of our farmland, at least here in the United States. Mm. And what's amazing is that we can still feed so many people based on the other 40%. And that's what amazes me is we can still do so much.
Yeah.
But I think the movement's there. I think more and more people are looking for healthier alternatives. They're looking at their diets, and they're looking at the whole medical game, and they're saying, I don't want to be on these pills. I don't feel good. I want to be thinner. Diets don't work. I'm tired of the yo-yo. I'm tired of up and down. Maybe they've had a medical event. Maybe they've been diagnosed with an autoimmune disease. Maybe they're dealing with the first time with hidradenitis suppurativa or rheumatoid arthritis, or they've been told they might have lupus or a mixed connective tissue problem, or maybe they have an unspecified problem that we just can't figure out because it's an unknown autoimmune problem. Okay. People are asking the question, and they're saying, "I want to be healthier. What do I have to do?"
Yeah. And it's not. Have more dairy for your bones and eat more red meat for your protein. It's just like, and someone made a comment like, why don't doctors recommend, changing your diet? I can't remember where it is, and it wasn't in capitals, and the conversation moved. And we've said this, but this is from someone who maybe didn't hear us say it before, but it's not just because they're going to make some money by selling you some drugs, although there's that. But it's that they don't know. They're working on old information,
Well, we don't know. Doctors in general don't know this. This information that we're talking about today, most doctors don't even know exists. They just don't know. Secondarily, the ones that do, like me, that are trying to get the message out, the psychological barrier that people have to making this kind of change is enormous, because they question the very idea that you can survive without eating animal products. There are people that don't even believe you can even live if you don't eat animal products. They don't understand that. So, it's not just education, but it's belief. It's a belief system, and it's a lifestyle change that's so enormous for some people that it's inconceivable. Yeah. They can't even conceive. What would I eat? I mean, to the point where they really, even if they really wanted to, they really wouldn't know what to do. Well, let's go buy Jack in the Box. Let's get the pizza for tonight. I mean, it's such a part of their lives that you're talking about a change in lifestyle akin to, and I used this reference with a patient. I said, it's like becoming a new religion, because the changes in the way you think, the way you behave, are very similar to the way you might have to change your life if you were to, say, become Hebrew. Maybe you wanted to adopt Judaism, so you'd have to learn to dress differently. You might have to learn some new terminology. You have to learn shalom, and you might have to learn some Hebrew terms, and you have to learn a whole new set of a whole new calendar, right? A whole new set of holidays. Yeah. And you would have to learn some dietary changes, perhaps, right? And so what's kosher? What's not kosher? Yeah. So it's very similar to making that kind of, which for an adult is actually a drastic lifestyle change to say to become a Muslim all of a sudden and learn, okay, what direction do I have to face when I have to pray 3 times a day? I guess they pray 3 times a day. So you see what I'm saying? It's almost to that level of a change.
It's so alien.
Say that I'm going to give up animal products going forward, and I'm only going to eat whole food, plant-based stuff. I'm going to avoid processed foods. To do that in society today is as big a change as it would be for me or Sue to decide that we wanted to become Islamic or become Muslims, right?
Yeah.
And everything that would entail.
Yeah.
I think it's as big a change as that.
Yes, I think you're right. I think
really do.
You're right.
And I think it definitely is psychologically.
Oh.
Whether it is in reality or not.
In reality, it's actually quite easy. Up
but
here, it's very hard.
I think it's as big a wall as that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Really,
that's a really good analogy, and it is. It's just like getting your head round it, and of course, not tarring everyone with one brush. But if you're the sort of person that, I can't be bothered to cook, let's just get a delivery, let's just get a takeout, let's just go and eat. I can't be bothered to cook, let's just eat dips and chips. I've done all of those things, and so has Wink. To actually change, suddenly, as right. Nancy was saying, you've got to read all the packets. It's just like, you're in the shop for 2.5 hours trying to get a few bits of grocery because you've got to read everything, and then you've got to check it, or maybe not this, and so it's not only changing your lifestyle, completely, and in the head, the whole mindset that's going on, but you've also got to you've got to do research, you've got to check things out, that store doesn't have that thing that's in that recipe, and I've never even heard of that. Where do I get that? I don't know. Oh, what are people going to say? You've got all of that going on. So it's not just
a lot of fear.
Lots of fear. And then then there's that whole, what if I can't stick to it? She can stick to it and I can't. So I've never been successful at everything. Yeah. Your self-worth comes in. And maybe the fact that you're overweight, or you've got some things that are kind of, because you've had bad lifestyle habits, that's all part of self-worth, which is why, I've said before, this whole lifestyle change, this whole food, plant-based eating, 80% of it's in your head, girls. 80% is in your head. And whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, either way, you're right. So it is some people, when they say, no, I could never stop eating my meat, I think almost, they've got bad information or wrong information or old, out-of-date information, and it's been a habit of a lifetime, and there's that part of them that knows they won't change, and so rather than, going, I'll probably fail at that, so I'm just going to go, I'm not giving up my burger. Oh, no. Oh, you won't separate me from my T-bone steak. And I think it's a way of batting it away and not owning up to, we're very often not honest with ourselves because we have this culture of blaming if it wasn't for the recession, I'd have did this, and if my husband hadn't have left, or if this hadn't have happened, or if only I lived in this place, or if I was born in a different time, or, that person hadn't stolen from me, or if I hadn't have got, knocked on the head that day, blah, 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 my life would be different. And we use excuses. We're very good at using excuses to hide the fact that we won't actually dig into ourselves and go, that's totally your own fault, don't you, Susan? You were the one that did that, only you just had to blame it on this and blame it on that, because we feel very fragile when we actually open up our little kit bag and go, there it is. That's the moment you went wrong, Susan. So are you going to change it, or are you going to whinge about it? And this is the work that I've done with myself over the last kind of 3 or 4 years, so that a cyst on my back doesn't have me felled like a tree, fallen and not positive. I could have just fallen straight back into being depressed with that. I was the healthiest I had ever been. I was on top of the world. I've been to this fruit festival. I met so many people that I just clicked with. I was just like floating in a, like, just euphoric state of wonderment. And I came back with a wretched cyst on my back, and it just went downhill until I met all you guys. But I didn't fall down, and because I've learnt to catch myself, I've learnt to be honest with myself. And so the whole mindset thing with food, I'm very strong mentally now. But a lot of people aren't. You know, a lot of people are attaching emotions to food, and they're sitting there and they're eating potato chips, crisps, fries, and you know, and stuff, because it's a comforty food. We associate it from long ingrained behaviour from our parents and from everything we've heard and read and seen and done, and every fast food restaurant that's out there. So, you know, it's really, really hard for some people to make that change. But when, you know, you need to take control of your mindset to be able to do this. And I think this is, Jack, where you're very frustrated with some of your patients, because they're just not listening, even though they must have all been in this whole year and a bit that you've been on this, and obviously you found it out and you've been telling them. They must have, it must be like, a broken record now.
That Proteinaholic page, you know, I handed out, read this book, you can change your life, you don't have to keep coming to see me, and you can, you know, and I've actually had some that are actually following through with it, but the vast majority, it's too much.
Yeah.
It's too much psychologically, and you know.
Yeah.
But I just keep at it,
You have to keep at it, and that's how that's how, look at the success we've got with the people that are following. You know, it's absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing.
So what day did you want to make a change to?
Yeah, so we've got a lot of people that are like, oh, I'm really sorry I've missed, because I get private messages, I'm sorry I've missed you live again, I don't seem to be able to fit the new time into my schedule, and I much prefer being live because I enjoy the camaraderie and the connection with everybody, so which obviously you don't have when you can't comment live. And then there's the other faction are saying that they really enjoyed the kind of the moral support on fasting days. Although we did decide to move from fasting days, because all we talk about is food and everyone's fasting.
That was the hard thing about going fasting days, right?
Yeah.
Because then you,
So I don't know. I think it may be good to have one that's kept at this time, and maybe have one that's on a fasting day and maybe one that's later, to catch more people. So I don't know how it fits in with your diary, because of course it's 8 p.m. for me. I could definitely go a little bit later. I had a lot more people came on, but I don't know if that's because you weren't on Sunday. Because I had about 27.
I doubt they missed me. I'm sure you all did just fine without me.
Oh.
Okay, so it's Mondays and Thursdays are my fasting days. I think a lot of people have picked those days.
Yes, they have. Everybody's doing Monday and Thursday, I believe.
They seem to make the most sense. They work well. I mean, Monday's pretty much a rotten day for a lot of people who have to work anyway, so fasting on top of it doesn't seem to spoil anything. And then you fast on Thursday because it kind of splits the week in half, and then you don't have to worry about doing it on a Friday or a Saturday where you might get a chance to go out or something. So Mondays and Thursdays are good fasting days. And if you want to do a broadcast on one of those 2 days, because of my current schedule, it would have to be later again.
Yeah, I totally get that, and I think I don't know, because obviously you've got your family time. I just come on regardless, whatever the rest of my family's doing. Did I say that out loud? I think I did. But Wink's always happy to go and lay on the bed and watch some drivel on the telly. So he's always happy to do that. Finian never leaves his room, so I'm kind of my own free agent. I'm not neglecting my family, but it doesn't really matter. I think the late one would be better to be a Wednesday, because I work my new job in this shop Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so I don't have to get up early on Thursday. Because I think what I was doing is I was getting into a really bad habit of just being up all night and never sleeping, and I have fixed that now that I'm not on twice a week.
So that was a lifestyle issue, and I think actually you had a lot of fans, a lot of your lovelies who were worried about your health because you were not sleeping. So that's a big consideration.
Yeah.
So why don't you and I talk about this off camera and we can exchange and we can try to work something out. I think no matter what time you pick, there's going to be somebody that's going to feel left out, and that's unfortunate. But maybe making an adjustment would be helpful to some people. So I'm certainly open to that.
Something on if we had one fasting day and we had one later, so that for you in the States it's like 3:00 in the afternoon, and I guess especially as the summer comes, there's a lot more daylight. People are going to be out and about doing stuff, and they're going to miss it. And I know that you miss it. So if we maybe do a late one and an early one, a fasting day and a non-fasting day, then I think everybody, at least could get on live once a week and at least have some, I don't know. We'll have a chat about it so that we can fit it in with our schedules, because obviously we both have to be available. Otherwise, we're not available.
Well, if we're going to do a late one, we're going to have to really make sure that we cut it off at an hour.
Yeah, we could do it straight to the point, because we do.
Because otherwise, you're going to be back up half the night again.
Yeah, because I won't go to bed after it. I'll be up at least a couple of hours after it, so it's probably a 3 a.m. job for me if we go as late as that. But maybe we could go a tiny bit. Well, let's see. We'll talk, and we'll come on and we'll let you know when it is. But that's absolutely fantastic. If anybody hasn't put in their testimony for the health benefits they've got since doing that yet, I know some of you have posted on Wednesdays and on Sundays. Stick them in.
Robin's got a really good suggestion. It may actually be the best one yet. Continue with the Sunday afternoon time, I think she's saying.
Yeah.
But instead on Wednesdays, go Thursday evening.
Yeah.
So that solves one of the days being a fasting day. It still splits it up pretty much half and half, halfway through the week for the second one.
Yeah.
It gives us an earlier time on Sunday. It gives us one later time U.S.
Yeah.
As long as we don't make it go too late on that Thursday, I guess we could do that.
Yeah.
I mean, why don't you think about that? Because I think that impacts your lifestyle more than it does mine. Yeah. So why don't you think about it?
I'm cool. I'm cool with that because I'm a late night bird anyway. So yeah, that's cool with me. We'll confirm the times, exactly what time it will be. But yeah, Thursday you can't come on before 6, can you? Because you're at work till 5.
Right. Yeah. That's
That's fine.
It's just not going to be able. Unless I have some dramatic change in what I'm doing, which I don't anticipate anytime soon. But I mean, you never know.
That's good. That works for me.
Thursday, Sunday is actually a pretty good time.
Yeah, and for Sunday for me, I think maybe 8:30 might be a bit better because I'm always like running around by the skin of my teeth trying to tumble on. I'm like usually going, I'm just getting ready, Jack, and I'm flying around at 5. Maybe 8:30 might be a little bit of a better time, which is just that would make it 3:30 your time. Does that still work for you?
Actually, we're 6 hours different, not 5.
Right. So when we come on, me at 8 o'clock, it's 2 o'clock Texas time, isn't it? Yeah. I'm getting confused because I came on at 9 last Sunday, which was 3. So would 2:30 be okay for you?
Oh, sure. Yeah. No, that's fine.
Okay.
Absolutely.
That would work better because that if I'm out for the day, it's not such a bun fight getting back for 8 o'clock because it's kind of the time when Finian needs feeding and Wink wants to know what we're having for supper, and that's kind of right. I know we should be eating earlier, but that would be great. So, so 8:30 UK time on Sunday, which would be 2:30 Texas time on Sunday, and then we'll go at the old time of midnight UK time, which is 6 p.m. Texas time on Thursday.
6 p. Thursday.
And
2:30 p. Sunday.
Yeah.
Now, my times will have to adjust when we hit daylight savings time.
Yeah, and ours will too. Our clocks will go forward.
Oh, well, then we won't have to change anything.
Yeah, but they might not go the same week. It might be a week or two apart. But yeah, we can keep on top of that, for sure. So that's what we're going to try. Hi, Carol, sweetheart. Oh, good luck with your stitches. She had a lipoma op during the week, and she's hoping her stitches are going to come up Friday. Lot of healing vibes to you, babes. We want to fast together. Well, do you know what? We won't change the fasting day because Dr. Gilmore is in his pattern of fasting, and
I really have been. I appreciate that. Yeah, we should start next week, Robin. I mean, we shouldn't start tomorrow.
No. Let's not start tomorrow. So on Sunday we'll start at half an hour later time, and then we'll go Texas all the way till next Thursday. Yeah. We'll do that. Absolutely. I think that's fantastic.
Well, that was easy. All we had to do was ask Robin, for crying out loud.
Yeah, all we had to do was ask Robin, our star competition winner. Yeah, I need to have a competition. Tomorrow, I am ordering my mugs from the manufacturer because I'm actually not out and I'm not working. I'm not in the shop. I'm going to be around during phoning business hours times, for the first time in ages. So I'm going to be doing that. So I will let you know how that's doing. We're going to stick to the fasting days because a lot of people are in that pattern. And I think they're good days for fasting. Because Monday is kind of like you can eat yourself stupid at the weekend and then go, goodness me, and feel better on Monday about fasting. So I am jiggling about because I need a bathroom break.
Well, I think it's a good time for us to stop. So, great talk, lots of fun. Good to see you.
Amazing. Well done with everyone's results. If you haven't put your testimonial up, put it up there because it helps people. Look, Nancy has joined us 3 days ago. She's decided to go for it, and that is just, music to my ears. And there'll be other people teetering around the edge of it because lots of people watch these and there's not so many on live. And I think it's people who are not doing it kind of don't want to come on live because they're like, oh, I'm not doing it. And they kind of feel like they can't. And I know lots of people talk to me privately who do see them, but they're never on live. And so these things help people. That it's just maybe the little friendly push that people need to go, do you know what? Just I could get over myself for 5 minutes and maybe have a couple of meat-free days and then let their bodies lead them the rest of the way. So do it. It makes a difference. It will make a difference to other people's lives. And you're all part of helping all of us change our lives for the better. So pats on the back all round.
Absolutely.
Absolutely love you guys. Can't wait to see you on Sunday. And you'll probably see us through the week because I think we've got rather a lot of packages arriving. So there'll be some live openings, I'm sure, coming in the next few days. All right then. Lots of love. Bye-bye.
Lots of fun. See you guys soon.
Bye.
Bye.